This video is all about hunger. So first up, we should differentiate between the different types and causes of hunger that we're going to feel. First, there is a more physical hunger that we feel due to a lack of food that we will all experience from time to time. It's that type of hunger that we feel in our stomach when our stomach makes those gurgling noises. Second up, there's the other type of hunger, which is a more psychological and emotional type of hunger, which we can often experience due to boredom or maybe as a coping mechanism to overwhelm or stress. First up, let's deal with physical hunger. It's worth mentioning that some hunger from time to time is completely normal, and if your goal is fat loss, then this is going to be expected in moderate levels. The key here is to make sure that it isn't too severe or happening too often. If it is, then we need to use this as feedback from our body saying that we aren't fueling it correctly. And maybe we need to play around with portion sizes, what your meals are made up of, and maybe your meal timings. It's also worth noting that sometimes when you're hungry, it's simply time to eat, and it might be worth listening to your hunger cues and bringing your meal times forward a little bit. If you're looking for strategies to tackle hunger, then we always say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So the best way to tackle hunger is to avoid experiencing it in the first place. So if you're not deep into a fat loss phase, most physical hunger can and absolutely should be avoided by focusing on some key principles that we mention often. So first up, make sure that you stay well hydrated, as dehydration can mess with your blood sugar management. Next, ensure that you're having protein with each meal, as this can help keep you fuller for longer. Next, you want to aim to have a good source of fibre with each meal, as this is going to further slow down the release of energy. Next, aim to eat moderate portion sizes, so not too small, but then not too big either, as this will often lead to slumps in energy. Finally, aim to eat pretty regularly. Don't skip meals or leave huge gaps in between them, as this is when your blood sugar is likely to drop and cause feelings of hunger. If for whatever reason you can't tick the above boxes, you need to be prepared. So first up, you should always try drinking some water first and ensure you're properly hydrated. And then snacks can be a really useful top-up. Ideally, the snacks you have want to be a mixture of nutrients, much like your meals, only smaller. So let's say a protein bar with a piece of fruit and a handful of nuts can be an excellent option to tick all of those boxes whilst not driving your calories through the roof. Alternatively, if we're just looking to push our hunger back a little bit further to our next meal time, then something smaller would suffice, so a piece of fruit or maybe some raw veg sticks. The main point here is that you should always be prepared for emergencies and have an easy snack available so that you don't have to rely on willpower alone. Next, let's talk about some delaying tactics to deal with the more emotional hunger that you may experience. Although, these strategies are going to be really good for physical hunger as well if good food options aren't available. First up, try some physical activity like going for a walk outside. This can be a great way to take your mind off any cravings that you may be experiencing, because a change of state, a change of environment and a change of focus does wonders for getting rid of those cravings. Then, moving more towards distraction techniques, you could try something like maybe changing your focus by calling a friend or a family member, or maybe cleansing your palate by going and brushing your teeth. Finally, we should talk about the ways to almost trick your body into thinking that you've satisfied certain cravings we have, with some low-calorie options available to us. These might include chewing gum, maybe having some zero-calorie drinks, some low-calorie food options that may contain artificial sweeteners and/or caffeine. These are all great at suppressing appetite through little to no calories. However, it's always important to note here that these won't contain any vitamins or minerals or any real goodness, so they shouldn't make up a large part of your intake and should only be used sparingly, i.e., in case of emergencies when hunger strikes.